Hello everyone, this is Dr. Geri Puleo, and I'd like to welcome you to this webinar on perfectionism and burnout. Why perfectionists burn out faster. Okay, full self-disclosure, I admit I am a reformed perfectionist. I don't really know if a reformed perfectionist exists, but at least it makes me feel better thinking that way. So if you're attending this webinar, you probably are asking if you too are a perfectionist. And if the truth is told, if you think you're a perfectionist, you probably are. But here are 5 questions. I'd like you to answer each one of them honestly. You don't have to share the results with anyone. And this should help give you an idea about how your perfectionism tends to affect how you work and how you view your work. So the first question, are you afraid of what might happen if you don't achieve your goal? Do you focus on results rather than enjoy the process? Are you depressed when you don't meet your goals? Do you focus on what went wrong rather than on what went right? And finally, do you tend to procrastinate? So how did you do on the 5 questions? Well, if you're like most perfectionists, you probably answered yes to all of them. But there is an underlying theme in each one of these questions, which relates to the primary reason why perfectionists tend to burn out faster than everybody else. That reason? Rigid, self-defeating standards of excellence. Perfectionists have extremely high standards in terms of how they expect themselves and often others to behave, act, or to achieve. But the problem with these high standards of excellence is that many times they are unrealistic and you can't really achieve them. As a result, they are self-defeating, and perfectionists tend to be very rigid. Perfectionists tend to refuse to change the standards rather than not achieve the ideal, excellent, perfect goal or results. So how can you help the perfectionist? Either someone that you're managing, maybe your boss, or even yourself. Well, the first thing that you have to learn is when something is, and I know this is going to be tough, good enough. In this graphic on cleaning a mirror, most people can clean a mirror very quickly, but the perfectionist takes 12 days. Now, obviously, this is a cartoon, and obviously, this is something that is meant to be humorous. However, when do you know that something is good enough? When it meets the standards that have been set. And let's take it back one step further. Are the standards that have been set really realistic? Or do they have a built-in mechanism that is going to lead to nothing more than stress for you? So learn when something is good enough. And at the end, always praise and recognize the efforts that it took to get that end result. Now, perfectionists are never just satisfied with that. In fact, a perfectionist will really want some constructive criticism. The trick is not to just focus on what went wrong, but also to encourage perfectionists to learn when something is good enough and to recognize when they've done something really well. One of the things that perfectionists often forget is that when something is good enough, it can also be excellent. Anyone who is in the arts, particularly dancers, have learned that there is a huge difference between striving for excellence and striving for perfection. Striving for excellence motivates you, but striving for perfection is demoralizing. And I might add, striving for perfection is a recipe for burnout.